Now you said there was sub bluegrass associations, and they all belong to this one now. Like in Jersey, like in America here, we have New Jersey, we have California, we have.
Well, we have a
similar out there.
It's similar, except that it's not structured formally. So the IBMA inspired a lot of countries to set up their own organisation where there was already a bluegrass presence. So, for instance, in England, the BBMA was created out of a couple of people that ran a small magazine, and it developed into an association. France has got an organisation. Spain has got a very small organisation. Italy, Switzerland, and so forth. At one point, there were countries that didn't really have an association, so the EBMA was formed really to cover those countries, and they may be the smaller ones that don't have the amount of bands, but that need some sort of representation. And presently, one of my roles on the international committee is to bring these people closer together and get them communicating better, using the internet, using modern technology, to create a better network of venues and festivals, so that touring Americans or touring Europeans have access to the information to be able to get around.
If an American band goes to Europe, they're well received. How about if a European band comes here? Are they just as well received? Is it equal balance here? Or is it better known? Americans are better known there.
The Americans, I mean, we'd have to kind of make a comparison, like, you know, although it's slightly different, but you know, if the Beatles came here, they were accepted because they were so huge, everybody knew them.
Right.
Now, if you sent Bill Monroe to Europe, everybody knew him too.
Right.
When it comes to lesser names, knowledge isn't, the band name isn't necessarily the thing that pulls the audience. What does is that there's a recognition that the best bluegrass does come from this side of the Atlantic. It's not, I don't agree that everything that comes from this side of the Atlantic is the best. There's plenty of very good bluegrass in Europe.
I agree
Czechoslovakia have produced some amazing bands, but there's bands who are here like Red Wine, G2, Toy Hearts, Acousticure, who've come from Hungary, and these are very competent bands. There is a perception that bands from outside of the US are not as good, but I think it's something we need to change over time and show them. One thing about music is that there's no language barrier. We run a camp in the UK, and we have lots of Europeans come, some, very few, but some of which don't speak English. But they don't need to, because the music does the job for them. And you know, when you sit in a session, if you had 5 guys from different countries who all spoke different languages, all they need to do is the guitarist needs to put his cap on the 2nd fret, and they all know they're going to be playing in A, and that's enough, and they go from there. And it's quite a lovely thing to see. So the language isn't a barrier to the music, and those that really want to learn enough English to sing. Of course, you hear some strange accents, but that is, in a way, can be a plus because it makes it slightly different.
Australia is big with bluegrass.
Sure.
They're here represented here this year.
Yeah.
Now, we talk about the European Bluegrass Association. What that encompasses what area of Europe?
The European Bluegrass Association is for the whole of Europe. So, you know, really from the western side in France and Spain right up to the old Eastern Bloc. England, Scotland and Wales obviously have we talk about a special relationship because the roots of the music, or parts of the roots of the music, come from those parts of Europe. But there are unexplainable pockets. Czechoslovakia is an amazing example where they have a huge bluegrass scene, and they're unique in that sense. They have the oldest festival in Europe. It's 35 years old. And they have some amazing players and also instrument makers.
Do they export out of Czechoslovakia to players and they go make the circuit around Europe?
They do play. There's a lot of cross-fertilization in Europe. Not as much touring as you'd expect. Each country has its scene and its set of bands, and they tend to play mainly in their own country. The big thing for most of them is to come and play you know, in the seat of the music, which is over here.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Bill Monroe Bluegrass.
Sure.
You know, everybody knows that.
Everybody wants to come here.
Everybody wants to play.
We're well aware that this music is from America, and we respect that, and we're in fact very proud of that heritage. As players of the music, we promote the fact that Bill Monroe was the founder of the music, and there's a lot of pride in that.
Thank you very much, John.
Well,
appreciate having you on Something Country.
Pleasure.
Now everybody knows a little bit more about the European Bluegrass Association. Yeah. Websites.
Websites, right. Website for the European Association is www.ebma.org. From there are lots of links to other European sites. Since I'm from England, I'll give my own site a plug, and that's www.britishbluegrass.co.uk. British Bluegrass is all in one word. And there's lots of information about what happens in England, and we've got a string of festivals.
And festivals are big in England and
yeah,
Europe?
They're not huge, but there's lots of festivals.
They're pretty good size here.
There's festivals in France, there's the Czechoslovakia, just about every European country has a festival.
Wow.
The only country in the western end of Europe that doesn't seem to is Italy. There's one in Spain, there's 2 or 3 in France, there's a few in Germany, there's one in Switzerland, there's 2 in Holland. No, they're all over, even up in Scandinavia.